Guys, welcome back to Defeating Hair Loss. I'm Steve and Bobby D. Welcome back, Bobby.
What's up, Steve?
Hey, man. It's a pleasure having you back as always.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
Let me just check out the hair. Looking
Got it
excellent.
cut before I came up here.
So. Oh, wonderful. Looks fantastic. Yeah. Looks fantastic. And you know, that's what we're going to talk about today. We haven't done a video in a really long time on FUT versus FUE.
That's true.
And that used to be one of the top two. It was either the preventative treatments or the FUT, FUE. And what I would like to point out to those of you out there is to make something very clear. Now, I'm not talking down to you, and I hope I'm not insulting your intelligence. I know you're really good researchers and you enjoy this content, and we really appreciate that. And Bobby D's channel, Bobby Dunlap, check that out as well. We got a bunch of hair stuff on there.
Yep.
But you know, I get a little confused within myself when I'm talking to some patients sometime, because there is a little bit, which I've said before, of a over-exaggeration of the wonderful pros versus pros and cons of FUE. And it always sounds, as soon as I start, it always sounds like I'm trying to promote FUT, and I'm not. I'm just being objective. So again, who better than Bobby D than to have him as a model, because you happen to choose FUT.
Yes, I did.
And you know, I was a big part of that decision in helping you. And we talked about it, and everybody kind of back and forth. You spoke to your doctor, Dr. McGrath, and his team, and give us an idea, like what were the reasons why you chose FUT? The main reasons, top two.
Yeah, of course, Steve. After talking to you, and you know we're good friends now and everything, was, you know, if I for some reason I were to get off the the finasteride, you know, if I were to get married one day, if my wife wanted me to quit, or in 10 years or so that, my hair just starts falling out a lot. I still have a lot of hair in the back to, rejuvenate it.
Exactly,
back, so.
Exactly. And by the way, so I don't mean to chime in or speak over you, but you're definitely never getting off, so don't get thrown out.
Yeah, I'm not.
But I understand, because you're a smart guy, you get married, and hey, listen, this has nothing to do with wives having husbands get off the medicine to have children. It has no effect whatsoever. It does not impede that ability to do that at all. It's just that there are some things online that scare the wives, and Bobby's just being truthful. And I know we talked about it, that hey, if they say, hey, look, as soon as I get pregnant, being your wife, then you can go back on the medicine. So, it's always that little bit of that fear thing, because when you do start so young and you are successful, and he's again a great model of that, is you don't want to go backwards. So you're in a position in your life, for whatever reason, it could be a health issue. I don't know what health issue, but it could be where you can't use this medicine and you start losing your hair. There is no question about it. Pay no attention to the nonsense online that tries to counter this, that you are going to have more hair to donate to yourself with the FUT procedure. Now, if you kind of progress, unfortunately, to a Norwood 5 or even, God forbid, a 6, let's just stick with a 5. You're definitely going to need 2.5, 3 procedures of FUT if you have the elasticity in the back of your head, and then you can go do FUE. But my point today is that when we do FUE, you are diffusely thinning the back of your head. And you need to know that, because instead of taking the very best hair in the center core, you're making everything in the back thinner. Now, my problem with online information, some of it, is just that people like to cherry pick. I don't really like to do that. As a matter of fact, that's why we don't pop up a lot of photos. I can go through thousands of photos as I sit here if I turn myself into a marketer or an advertiser and show you all these great examples of FUE, post-op, maybe 6 months, FUT, and all that. And I don't like to do that, because it sets everybody up to think, well, gee, if I just had FUE and I can kind of start to see a little bit of the thinness in the back, how come I didn't see that in Steve's photos that he had put out there? That's because results vary. So the whole point of this video, whether it's FUE or FUT, is you're going to have some sort of a lack of hair in the back zone. Now, in Bobby's case, and in my case for the majority of my procedures, when the strip is removed, you are not going to grow back that hair. However, the science behind it is it closes the wound and you have elasticity in your scalp. So if you think about it, all the hair on top of the scar and all the hair below the scar is the same. There's no thinning of that hair. Now you have to deal with the scar, which by today's generation, they try to scare you away from. And again, even with that, results are going to vary. He looks amazing. You can't see his scar. He cuts his hair like he shaves it. Doesn't make a difference, but that may not be you. So you have to be prepared for that. So just like you have to be prepared for a linear scar and wearing your hair a little bit longer, you can fade it up in the bottom up. You have to be prepared that if that's the reason and you choose FUE, you're going to have some sort of thinning in the back zone because especially in the prime zone. So be very, very careful when you're looking online, and you're only doing what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to research, right? So I told you, go out there, see what you think. And you have some sort of hair that is extracted from the back. That hair's not growing back. So you are going to have less hair in that zone, and that may alter patient to patient. It will alter patient to patient depending upon how you wear your hair. So if I'm Bobby's age, which I'm not, and I just started losing my hair, and I drank the Kool-Aid that FUE is the greatest thing in the world, and I went in for 2 procedures of FUE because I had more hair loss than Bobby, and I had a lot of grafts taken out, I can't then complain that I can have more sparseness, or I will have more sparseness in the back of my head. If I let my hair grow a little bit longer, you're not even going to notice that. So there's a lot of moving parts to this, and you know what my middle name is? You don't know that yet, right? From now on you will. Worst case scenario. If something's gonna happen bad, it's gonna happen to me. And that's just the way I am through my life. So I'm warning you out there, prepare for the worst, hope for the best. In Bobby's case, he's a really good researcher. He's obviously very bright. He chose a fantastic doctor. He had no issues whatsoever. He healed really well. He's obviously very healthy. He was young and he uses the medicine. He's had 2 procedures and that's it. But what I can tell you is if he chose FUE, he would have a thinner zone in the back. It would be thinner all through the back. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Did I get my point across?
I think you did, Steve. Good job.
Just want to make sure, because I'm talking to you, you're a patient. Keep in mind, okay, this is not to steer you into a direction of, oh, you should choose FUT, or oh, you should choose FUE. It's just gonna be very careful, because I don't do anything here on this YouTube channel to try to talk you into anything. I don't do anything on this YouTube channel or show you anything to try to convince you to do something, just like I didn't do for you. That's just not my style. I think sales is really bad for me. I'm not good at sales. But what I am good at is being honest. And what I am good at is being ethical. And I just want you to know that be very careful what you see out there in regards to cherry picking. Again, my middle name, worst case scenario. How's that sound?
Sounds good to me, Steve.
Bobby, as always, thank you so much.
Always.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.